প্রিয় দর্শক আসসালামু আলাইকুম। কোর ভিশন ফাউন্ডেশনের উদ্যোক্তা উন্নয়ন কার্যক্রম ভিশন ফর সাকসেসে স্বাগতম। দর্শক, আমরা সবাই চাই সফলতা, কিন্তু সফলতার কি প্রস্তুতি প্রয়োজন? সফলতার কোনো শর্টকাট পথ আছে কি? উদ্যোক্তা সৃষ্টির মাধ্যমে ক্ষমতায়ন, এই ভিশনের আলোকে স্বনির্ভর কমিউনিটি সৃষ্টির লক্ষ্যে সফলতা, প্রস্তুতি, ভিশন এসব নিয়ে কোর ভিশন ফাউন্ডেশনের আয়োজন ভিশন ফর সাকসেস। আমাদের আজকের অতিথি কাউন্সিল মেম্বার ররি আই ল্যান্সম্যান। Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome to Vision for Success.
My pleasure.
Council Member Roria I. Lancman represents 24th Council District of New York City, which comprises area of Kew Garden Hills, Promenade, Chester, Fresh Meadows, Hillcrest, Jamaica Estate, Briarwood, Parkway Village, Jamaica Hills, and Queens. He was born and raised in Queens, and he lived here for more than 40 years. Councilman Lancman chairs the Council's Committee on Courts and Legal Services and serve as members of all the Council's committees covering the criminal justice system, public safety, fire and criminal justice services, juvenile justices, oversight and investigation. Yeah, I think we have introduced correctly, or you want to add something?
No, you got it right.
Thank you. So, Councilman, you are actually well acquainted with our community. A lot of community people, particularly those who are in Queens, you are very much involved in the community. So, why are you a politician? Why you are not a businessman or a professional?
So, first, thanks for having me on the show, and I look forward to an interesting conversation. Before I was elected to the City Council, I was elected to the New York State Legislature. But before any of that, I was a lawyer in private practice. And although I've been very involved in my community since I was a teenager, I graduated from college, I graduated from law school, and I worked as a lawyer for, I think, about 11 years before I was elected to office for the first time. But even as a young person, I was always very interested in what was happening in my community, what was happening in the world, and thinking of ways that I could have an impact on shaping what my community looked like, what the world looked like. When I was in high school, I was very involved in my tenants association in the building that I lived in with my mother. And we were able to affect some of the policies that were impacting us in the apartment building in which we lived. All the work that I've done since then has really been the same as what I did when I was a teenager. To get involved in issues that are important to me and the people that I live with, and to try to have the most amount of influence over things that affect my life. So now as a councilman, I represent a district of 160,000 people, including a large Bangladeshi community. And it's my responsibility to make sure that city government serves the needs of everybody in the district that I represent. And so you can think of that district with all those neighborhoods that you mentioned and all those people as being just an extension of that apartment building from when I was a teenager. Just a lot bigger, the issues are a lot more important, more complex, but it's the same thing. I feel very strongly that I can make a difference in my community. And as I've risen in politics, the definition of my community has just gotten bigger and bigger.
So it was a plan to become a politician, or it
No, I wouldn't say that. I did realize from that experience in high school and in college, I served in the Army, I did realize that what was most meaningful and satisfying to me was to be involved in how decisions get made in my community. I don't want to say just serving the community, because you can serve the community in many ways. You're serving the community. Your organization serves the community. I had a particular idea that I wanted to serve the community through political activity. And although being elected to office and becoming a politician, as you put it, was a goal of mine, it wasn't necessarily my specific plan. Fortunately for me, it turned out that I had an opportunity to run for an office and win and get elected. But that didn't happen overnight, and it wasn't necessarily going to happen. You know, when I graduated law school, I worked at a law firm. And it was one of these big law firms in Manhattan. And there was a process for how you start to become ultimately a partner in the law firm. I think it was 7 years or 8 years. And if you worked hard and you billed a lot of hours and people liked you, you know you would get to the end. Having a political career is very different if you want to be an elected official. It requires a lot of luck, to be honest with you, for there to be an opening at the right time and you to be the right person to fill it. So I went along my career as a lawyer, married, have children, staying involved in the community. And fortunately, the opportunity presented itself for me to be able to run and to win. But I was doing the groundwork for many, many years so that when that opportunity presented itself, I could do it.
So you said that to become a politician, somebody must have some kind of plan or some kind of visions.
You know, it's very important when you do anything, whether it's this TV show, whether it's the organization that you run, whether you want to run for the city council, that you lay the groundwork so that when you do it, there's a solid foundation. In my case, I got elected to the state assembly when I was 36, 37, in 2006. By that time, I had served on my local community board for 16 years. I had chaired the local hospital community board. I had been involved in this thing and that thing. People knew me. I had a record that I could talk about. I had a professional background that people would respect. I was a lawyer. You could have other professional backgrounds, but that was mine. And so all those pieces came together. It's very, very hard to decide that you want to do anything, let alone running for office in this big, diverse, complicated city, just like you thought of it, out of the blue. The district that I represent is very diverse in every way, ethnically, religiously, economically. The only way that you can win election to an office is to build a coalition of people from all different backgrounds. That takes time. It's very hard to just show up to a community that you're not familiar with and have that community trust you to give you their vote. When I ran for the council in 2013, I had a lot of support from the Bangladeshi community because people who were leaders of that community knew me over many years, and we worked hard to forge a relationship. That takes groundwork.
And what are the challenges you have faced?
As a council member or someone who wanted to become a politician?
No, after 2013, you elected as a councilman.
Right.
So what are the challenges, sir?
Well, I don't know if I would describe it as challenges, so much as when you get elected, it's very exciting, and then you get sworn in and you take the oath of office, and now you're a councilman. Well, all those people who elected you, who worked hard for you, who knocked on doors for you, who raised money for you, and most importantly, who voted for you, they did so with an expectation that you were going to do certain things. For the Bangladeshi community, there was an expectation, which we had talked about when I was running, about doing things to make sure the Bangladeshi community was more included in city government, to make sure that services for the Bangladeshi community were fair, and to make sure that city policies didn't discriminate against the Bangladeshi community or the Muslim community. So if you look at it in those three things, when I took office, we made sure that we made appointments to the community board of Bangladesh, people from the Bangladeshi community. If you look at the Queens Hospital Center Community Board, and you look at the Jamaica Hospital Board, and you look at the Police Precinct Council, you'll see Bangladeshis there now from the community, representing the community. In terms of services for the community, we now have the first senior center serving the Bangladeshi community at the Jamaica Muslim Center, which originally was paid entirely from the funds that I have to allocate. And that money has only gone up year after year. All of the schools in Jamaica Hills, PS 131, the schools in Briarwood, where a lot of Bangladeshi students go, we give them a lot of money for after-school programs and other things. If you look at Captain Tilly Park, which is the main park in the heart of the Bangladeshi community, so much money has gone into the park to improve the lake and to improve the park itself. We created on Hillside Avenue a merchants association of mainly Bangladeshi business owners. So, and of course, citywide, as you know, now we have Eid as a school holiday for the first time ever. So I guess the challenge is matching the promises with the reality. And we've done that, and I'm very, very proud of that. But we've only been able to do that in partnership with the Bangladeshi community and the community's own leaders.
We'll take a commercial break. We'll come shortly. Dear viewers, stay with us. We are taking a commercial break. Welcome back. Dear viewers, you're watching Vision for Success. Here with us, Councilman Rory Lancman. Welcome back. So, last 4 years, you have taken a lot of initiatives. You mentioned all these things. There is like for job creation, financial empowerment, entrepreneurship. As we are, Core Vision is working with entrepreneurship. So can you say something about what initiatives you have been taking?
Sure. So we call Queens County the borough of immigrants. And if you look at some of the busiest, most active commercial areas in Queens, Long Island City, where we are filming this, downtown Flushing, or Hillside Avenue, which I represent, all of that commercial activity is being driven by new immigrant communities. And in my area, in particular, the Bangladeshi community. If you look on Hillside Avenue from the Van Wyck Expressway all the way out to 188th Street, which is my district, you won't see vacant storefronts. You'll see activity. You'll see businesses. One of the challenges that those business owners have is getting the city to pay attention to their needs and the services that they require. They might need sanitation services. Maybe the garbage is not being picked up enough. They need to interact with the police department so that the people who are coming to shop can park or not park depending on what is necessary. They need to work with the Department of Transportation to make sure that there's good bus service, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Like all new immigrant communities, people are so focused on working. They work like dogs. They get to the store early in the morning, they're there late at night, it's 7 days a week. They go to Hillside, they run off to the mosque, then they come back. They don't have time or the experience to know how to get the services from the city that they need. So we work with the leaders of the Bangladeshi community along Hillside Avenue, people who own businesses, ran businesses, and established a merchants association. It's called the Jamaica Hills Partnership. And these are business owners. They meet on a regular basis. When we meet, we have, when they meet, they have representatives from city government come and talk to them. It might be a representative from the police department, or it might be a representative from the health department, so that the community of entrepreneurs can start getting the services and attention that they need from city government. I don't have to tell you, it's very hard being an entrepreneur. It's incredibly difficult work. Not everyone is successful, but you should at least have the government on your side. And we've started to be able to do that for that community in Hillside Avenue.
So, what is your future plan? What you are thinking about, like for the you're competing for the next election? And
So I'm running for re-election. The election is on September 12th. That's the Democratic primary. Hope that everybody comes out to vote, and hopefully they come out and vote for me. If I win the Democratic primary, then we have another election in November, and then I would take office in the City Council again for my second term on January 1st. In city government, we have term limits. So the most that anybody can serve now is 2 terms. So if I get reelected, I will get 1 more term in the City Council, and then 2021, I'm out. Me, the mayor, the borough president, everybody's out in 2021.
Okay.
What the future would hold for me if I get reelected and I have a second term, I'm not sure. 4 years is a long time in politics, but hopefully I would still have some opportunity in some way to represent the community.
So you believe that what you have committed, you have achieved those targets in the last 4 years?
Yes, I'm very, very proud that we have, as you put it, you talk like a businessman, we have achieved our targets in the last 4 years. We had specific goals for the whole district and in particular for the Bangladeshi community. As I said, we want to make sure the Bangladeshi community is more involved in government, is participating in the city government that they are a part of and they pay taxes to. We wanted to make sure that the Bangladeshi community who pays taxes also gets services from the city, that they get a senior center, that their parks get taken care of, that their schools get funding, that their social services programs get funding, et cetera. And we've done that. And we also want to make sure that whatever policies the city has, whether it relates to recognizing holidays in schools, or having a universal pre-kindergarten program, or providing security for private schools who can't afford it themselves, that is available to everybody on an equal basis. Muslim, Jewish, it doesn't matter. Those were our 3 goals, and I'm very proud of what we've done to achieve them. And then, of course, if I get reelected, we keep building on them.
We'll take another commercial break. Dear viewers, stay with us. We'll take a short break. Dear viewers, welcome back. You're watching Vision for Success. Here with us, Councilman Rory Lancman. Yes, Councilman, we are discussing about the Bangladeshi community, and you are very much involved with the community. You know our community. So there is, I would request you have seen good and bad also. So what are the things we should uphold, in your opinion?
I've not seen any bad. No bad.
It's a real politician.
I have an election in a couple of weeks. What is wrong with you?
So,
to try to answer your question in seriousness, the Bangladeshi community is a beautiful community. People have welcomed me with open arms. I'm a regular at the mosques in my district. I joke at the Jamaica Muslim Center. I'm practically a member already. Every new community, every new immigrant community whether you're Bangladeshi or Eastern European Jewish or Italian or Dominican, it doesn't matter, faces the same challenges. The people who come here, they have to work incredibly hard just to survive and to provide for their children. And that work often consumes all the time that they have. It's important, though, that people try to find a little time to be engaged beyond their work and beyond their family, to be advocates for their community, to speak up to government officials, to make sure that their needs are taken care of. Listen, we established the first Bangladeshi senior program at the Jamaica Muslim Center. It's a great program. Everybody loves it. That wasn't my idea. When I went to the Bangladeshi community leaders and said, what do you need? They talked to their community and they said, this is what we need. So I know, especially for the first generation, how much time you spend just surviving, providing for your family. But it's very important that everyone take a little time and a little effort to speak for their own community's needs, to city government, state government, federal government, to their elected representatives. And if they actually have time to participate in things like community boards and civic associations and tenant associations. And then I have no doubt that their children, your children, who will grow up in the American school system, will, like every group of immigrants before them, become the next leaders in our city.
So, as you are saying that our next generation, they might be interested to become a politician like you. So, what would be your guidance? What would be your advice for them?
The first thing that I would tell anybody, whether you're Bangladeshi or from whatever your background is, find yourself a real career. Maybe it's as a lawyer, maybe it's running a nonprofit, maybe it's as a television host. Establish yourself in a real career. Maybe start a family. Stay involved in things, but at some point, when you get a little bit older, you don't have to be 50 years old, 30 years old, 35 years old. After you've got a little experience in the real world, after you've spent some time as a volunteer for your mosque, for your senior center, for your community board, try to get involved in political campaigns to see what political campaigns are like. Support good candidates who build coalitions. Nobody can get elected to office. It was very hard, if they have not built a foundation of community service, if they don't have some professional background that they can offer to people, and if they haven't built coalitions across different communities. If all I did was run in the Jewish community as the Jewish candidate, that's not enough to win. I have to have friends in the Bangladeshi community, I have to have friends in the Chinese community, I have to have friends in the Latino community, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. If you're interested in politics, if you're a young person interested in politics, get yourself established in your own career, volunteer time for things that are important to you, and get involved in political campaigns with people who could expand your relationships and your connections outside of your own community. That's my advice.
And we are just at the end of the program. What is your final words, final message for the Bangladeshi viewers?
My final message to the Bangladeshi viewers is that your community is contributing to this city just like every other immigrant community now and in the past, and I'm sure in the future. And I am so grateful for the friendships that I've made in the Bangladeshi community, for the relationships that I have, for the support for my political campaign, and for the partnership. When I get to answer your question about what did I do, and I can say I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, I didn't do any of those alone. I did them with people. And that is a very, very satisfying feeling for me. And it is something that I hope that everybody who has worked with me is proud of also.
Thank you, Councilman, for being with us, for your time, and wish you good luck. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
দর্শক, সফলতার কোনো শর্টকাট পথ নেই। সফলতার জন্য প্রয়োজন হচ্ছে, অপরিহার্য হচ্ছে সঠিক জ্ঞান ও পর্যাপ্ত জ্ঞান, অপরিহার্য হচ্ছে ভিশন। আসুন আমেরিকার মেইন স্ট্রিম রাজনীতি নিয়ে ভাবি, ভিশন ঠিক করি। ভিশনের উদ্যোক্তারা বদলে দিতে পারেন সমাজ, অর্থনীতি, হতে পারেন অন্যের জন্য প্রেরণার উৎস। ভিশন আত্মবিশ্বাস, পরিশ্রম এবং ধারাবাহিক চেষ্টা এনে দিতে পারে সাফল্য। আসুন সফলতার জন্য সেভাবে চেষ্টা করি। নতুন প্রজন্মকে ভিশনারি উদ্যোক্তা ও পরিশ্রমী হতে এবং ইতিবাচক ভাবতে শেখাই। অনুষ্ঠান সম্পর্কে আপনার পরামর্শ মতামত লিখুন info@corevision.us অথবা কল করুন 7184069298। অনুষ্ঠানটি প্রচারিত হবে প্রতি শনিবার রাত 9:15 ইনশাআল্লাহ আবারও দেখা হবে আগামী শনিবার এই সময় এখানে টাইম টিভিতে। আসসালামু আলাইকুম।